Hi, this is Layla with the Mad Tasty team, and I have the privilege of hosting our next Mad Tasty session, Mythbusters, with Michael Flemmens from SoRSE, our technology partner. Michael currently serves as the VP of Technical Business Development on the SoRSE team and has had a renaissance career in product development and technology. Some of the great projects that he's spearheaded include developing an implantable medical device and drug delivery system for patients diagnosed with HIV. In addition, he has worked on patented new cancer treatment, had a type 4 drug master file approved by the FDA, and received JEFCA approval for a new food ingredient. He also built out and designed 7 novel manufacturing lines and has held multiple government contracts for novel security products. Pretty impressive background, and we're so excited that he's here to bust some myths that are around cannabis and hemp. So I'm going to start with the first myth or question that we get from our consumers a lot, and that is that both marijuana and hemp get you high.
Most people lump hemp and cannabis together, and they ask, because they lump them together, will it get me high? It is true that both hemp and cannabis contain THC and CBD, although the amounts vary by the plant. You'll find that 10 to 20% of THC is found in cannabis, and less than 0.3% is found in hemp, and that's from the Farm Bill. All the plants contain all these molecules and a number of other ones. There are isomers, minors, terpenes, all found, same compounds, different plants. Cannabinoids work on a system in your body called the endocannabinoid system. These receptors are found in the spinal column, the brain, and then also, interestingly enough, in the skin. While CBD is psychoactive simply because it works on a system that is attached to your central nervous system, it is not intoxicating. THC, however, is intoxicating.
Another myth we want to talk through is that people have the notion that it takes a long time to digest or feel the effects of cannabis or hemp.
The time it takes to digest the material and then feel the effects is directly related to the form factor in which you take. For instance, many CBDs are presented to the consumers as oil form, and oils are typically hard to digest. Couple that with a phenomenon where oil and water don't inherently mix together. Most people are familiar with salad dressings. If you look at a Hidden Valley Ranch dressing, it never separates. That's because they're using a technology to keep the oil and the water together. Whereas your classic Italian dressing will separate after you use it, and you have to shake it up to remix it. There is a technology that allows us to transform these oils into small droplets that are now soluble in water or dispersible in water, and they can be easily digested and absorbed. MADTASTY currently uses this emulsified emulsion technology to transform the CBD oil into something that plays nicely with water.
Another myth we want Michael to bust for us is if CBD from hemp will show up in a drug test.
Whether or not you pass or fail a drug test really depends on the nature and quality of the extract itself. The hemp plant is processed to extract all the cannabinoids. Then the oil is remediated and all of the THC is pulled out of that oil. Now you have a broad spectrum hemp extract that contains CBD amongst other cannabinoids, but no THC. In that case, you'll pass a drug test. If the processor does not remediate and remove the THC, and there are trace amounts in there, there is the potential for you to consume a product with small residual amounts of THC.
So, Michael, you're saying that the quality of the extract in the product is important?
The quality of the hemp extract is of paramount importance.
Another myth is that the only way to consume hemp or cannabis is by smoking it.
Again, another myth busted. There are many, many ways to consume cannabinoids. There are edibles, there are topicals, there are sublinguals, there are any normal mode of transport that you would expect to find in a therapeutic compound. You will find usually those sources. When you smoke, the challenge most people have is getting an accurate dose. How big of a puff, how big of a draw, how long you hold it, though all of those things impact the dosage. So presenting a edible or topical product to the consumer so that they know that they're getting a consistent and repeatable, reliable dose is very important when people try and get on a regimen.
So, Michael, even about 5 years ago, I feel like they were using hemp extract in oil form, and that still wasn't giving people a consistent experience. Do you have any information on that as well?
Sure, when people try and make edible products with oils, they many times run into challenges getting a homogeneous mix throughout their product. So you typically don't get a repeatable experience. One bite may, for instance, have a higher dose than other bites, as the material is not uniformly distributed throughout the product. Using an emulsified form allows you to more uniformly distribute the product in an edible or topical so that you do get a consistent and repeatable dosage every time.
Another really important question that we get as well is hemp and cannabis legal?
We'll talk about cannabis and hemp independently. Cannabis by itself is legal in a number of states where the voters in that state have decided to legalize some form or fashion. Even in the last election of 2020 this year, which is 4 more states decided to legalize recreational cannabis, and 1 additional state decided to legalize medical cannabis. It is still federally illegal for consumers to have cannabis, but the states have decided to allow it. Hemp, on the other hand, is legal under the Farm Bill of 2018 in all states. Some states have decided to put restrictions on where it could be placed in the store or the dosage or the container size, but it is federally legal per the Farm Bill of 2018.
So, although hemp is allowed, what is the FDA's stance on hemp as an ingredient?
The FDA is still not weighed in on the topic of legalizing or setting limits or dosages or anything to that matter. It's still, they have a hemp working group, they have a CBD working group, but they're still currently going through the legislative efforts right now.
The last myth we want to talk through with Michael is that all cannabis and hemp food and beverage products taste earthy and have an oily consistency.
Lucky for us, modern technology has allowed us to create cannabinoid enriched products that don't carry with it all of the off sensory notes. What that means is that cannabis and hemp both have characteristic smells or flavors, and many people don't find them appealing. We're able to sort of mitigate some of the off sensory notes and entrap them inside the emulsification. So it allows the consumer to have a very pleasant experience consuming cannabinoids.
That's exactly why MADTASTY wanted to partner with SoRSE, because we wanted a clean, no sugar, refreshing formulation with the benefits of hemp without having to cover up those earthy notes.
And some things we see in the marketplace are some of the bitter notes that are associated. Many companies will try and cover them up with a ton of sugar because sweet tends to help block some of the bitter notes or mitigate them. But when you're looking for a product that is in the vein of health and wellness, you don't want to be consuming a lot of sugar if you don't have to. So that's part of the platform that was helped developed and used by the MADTASTY team is we are able to mitigate many of the off-sensory notes without having to cover them up with sugar.
Michael, I really want to thank you for your time and for sitting with me and our community to bust up some myths around cannabis and hemp.
Great. Thank you very much for having me.